Hi, this is an overview to support you with home learning. My name's Mrs. McDonnell and that's my email address on this slide if you have any questions. We appreciate that it isn't always easy to carry on with home learning. So if you need any further support, hopefully we'll answer all your questions here, but if not, don't hesitate to get in touch on that email that I have attached. There'll be aspects of this that you already know, but I'm just going to go over everything to do with remote learning very briefly and very clearly so that you can check that you know everything that you need for you and your child whilst you're home schooling. So where to start? The suggestion will be to start with ePraise. We've been using it for years. It is where the children's homework is put, but it's also where the children's home learning is put. We are sticking to a 5-day week and a 5-lesson day. We would highly recommend that students begin their day at 8:30 and stick to the usual school day. If they find the work is going on much beyond the school day, then it is fair to them to say that they can stop. If they put their time in, they can stop what they're doing, let the teacher know where they got up to, and move on, and wait till the next day. There is no need to be putting in hours and hours and hours of extra work. That's not fair. What I would suggest then is that you start with ePraise, you log in. If you don't know the ePraise login, all teachers have access to resetting the password and we can get you on that fairly swiftly. Just follow this through. So you log into ePraise and you take the planner view that's surrounded by that red mark there. The planner view is what you will find most useful. So once you've clicked on the planner view, you can see that next week is already beginning to build up. So here, for example, this student has got 4 lessons in already for Monday, and the 5th lesson, unless there's a double in there, which is a possibility, the 5th lesson will be appearing soon. So this student will go through those 5 lessons in the 5 hours on Monday, as they would normally do in school. Some of those lessons will be self-study, some will be mix and match with videos or PowerPoints with voiceovers like this one, and some of them will be live lessons. I'll talk further about that shortly. Other functionality in ePraise, which is important for you to know, is that you have the Me section here. Go into Profile, and I'm going to skip to the next slide to show you. Now you can see that we've got Assessment. So by clicking on Assessment, this is one of the areas that staff will be giving feedback. Let me show you here. So this student's clicked on Assessment, then clicked onto Maths and gets the feedback from work that's been marked for them there. So that's an example of where students can receive feedback on ePraise. Have a little wander around ePraise if you want to, and also be aware that this speech bubble here, this is a messaging service. A lot of the parents are missing the fact that there are conversations going on between students and teachers. If they're stuck, if they've got any questions, those conversations can often take place there. That's a whistle-stop tour of ePraise. I'm now going to move on from there. So that's ePraise, which is fairly straightforward. Our MUnifi was introduced to us in September. We have given all students lessons in the computer rooms to show them how it works and to help them write down their username and password and find their way round. Not all of them have remembered those, so if that's the case, then please send a message to our MUnifi request at our St. Joseph's email addresses there on this slide. Why our MUnifi? It brings everything into one place. It supports us with settings. It allows your child to access the work that they've done in school at home and vice versa. And a lot of these websites that they have access to, it'll save the passwords so they can just log in and out very quickly. We appreciate that it would be a whole lot easier if everything was just on one website or web page, but unfortunately fortunately actually, there's a ream of resources out there and we want to use as many as possible. If we were to just use one website, then we wouldn't be benefiting the children that we have in our care. So we've tried to bring them all under one roof by using our MUnifi. That's part of the reason that we're using them, but also please be aware that this means that the whole of Microsoft Office 365 is available for free to every learner. Once they have their MUnifi email address, they can now access everything that's available in Microsoft Office 365 for free. I'll show you how they can do that. So by clicking on one of the icons to do with Office 365, you might come through to something like this, and then up here we've got what's called the grid, or what the Americans like to call a waffle. Clicking on that will give the students the access you can see here to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook for email and OneDrive, and a ream of other new apps that Microsoft have made available for our learners. Going back to our MUnifi, you'll see that Teams is a huge part of what we're doing right now. It may not be entirely apparent why we need Teams straight away. Obviously, a lot of what we're doing is in ePraise. Teams has an awful lot of extra functionality. You can see if I click on the purple Teams icon, it then takes me to different groups. This keeps my classes together. So my Year 8 Spanish class, for example, I will click on there. We have our own chat function. We have an area where we can save all the resources in one area, and those resources can be a lot bigger than ePraise can cope with. So everything that we do with the class can all be in one place, and it's really helpful for students as they get used to it, because they can see past lessons, future lessons, resources that have been using in class. If they lose a worksheet, that can be held all the time in that same one area. And it also gives us the opportunity to set up and run live lessons via Teams. Okay, so this section is about the live lessons, a bit of a bone of contention at times, not least because people don't like looking at themselves while they're doing a live lesson. Often the children will leave their cameras off, and that's fine. It actually does help because it gives us better bandwidth then, and children will ask questions by unmuting themselves and talking to their teacher, or using the chat function at the side. How do they get into a live lesson? So if it's on Teams, they go into our MUnifi Teams, they find the class, and then there'll be a link in the chat, and they can click join. Live lessons will be at the same time as their usual lesson. If they can't make it, please do not worry. That same lesson will be available for them, not as a recording. It'll be available as a PowerPoint or as worksheet resources for them at a different time. Not all families are able to access Teams at the same time. Some people might be using the family laptop at a different time, so that is okay. But if you wish to have that live element, then please look out for that in Teams. A couple of people are having difficulties with Teams for various reasons, and some people will be setting the Zoom. If that is the case, if they are set on Zoom, apologies again, we're using two separate resources here, but the Zooms will be all notified on ePraise with the time, the link and the password. So if in doubt, your starting point is ePraise. I hope that's as clear as it needs to be, but again, there's an opportunity to ask any questions about that. Communication is clearly important for us all during this time. Just so that you know you haven't missed anything, then you can go onto the school website, and that letters section there contains all of the letters that are sent home, as well as backing that up with a text messaging service, so that you know if we've been sending out any letters. If you do need to get in touch with anyone, our school staff email addresses are also available via this page of the website. And if you scroll down on the school website, there's also a clickable link called Remote Learning. If there's anything that you want us to show you how to do or how it works, then drop me a line and I will upload another how-to video. We'll send you a very short how-to video that takes you through what you need to know step by step. We hope we've covered everything, but if not, do let us know, and we are here to help. Finally, we did mention that we do use other websites, and again, apologies that it's not all in one place, but there are some wonderful resources out there that we are dipping into. This is not a substitute for the contact with your child's class teacher, but it is a support alongside. So, for example, the Oak National Academy has a wealth of resources to support us and your child. BBC Bite Size has been around for a long time, and also Seneca. Should students need logins, these are standalone websites that they can access all by themselves. They don't need us to sign them up. It might be worth, with Seneca, if there is a class sort of link, often I know RE and Science use Seneca, get in touch with the class teacher. And as I mentioned on the last slide, all email addresses are available via the school website. Take care. Do ask questions if you're stuck. We are all in this together, and we're learning very, very, very fast over a very short space of time. But the good news is that we all want the same thing, and we all want our students to be safe, successful, and well. Thank you. Bye.